Seems like the random wind gusts are causing chaos in various parts of the area here today anyways. And what did I read today? Talk about things like wind gusts is kind of interesting. With a lot more places doing things like drone light shows versus fireworks, it seems like there's been a lot of, I guess, mishaps with drone light shows due to things, for example, such as weather or bad connections. So how about this one? It was kind of interesting. This one says, Vivid drone show canceled 20 minutes before it was due to start. Vivid Sydney has canceled its drone show 20 minutes before it was due to run at Circular Quay on Saturday night. The shock announcement was made by organizers on social media, stating the decision was, quote, due to forecasted weather conditions. Can you imagine that? Just standing there wondering, hey, where's the drone show? And they only did the announcement through social media. The show will not be rescheduled as tonight marks the conclusion of Vivid Sydney 24. We apologize for the inconvenience and thank you for understanding. Please be patient when exiting, as it indicates in that little posting. It says the alert included a timestamp of 8:43 p.m. However, it was shared across social media platforms, including on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 8:52 p.m. and Facebook at 8:55 p.m. The Love is in the Air drone show was scheduled to commence at 9:10 p.m. Organizers had earlier advised that large crowds are expected for the drone show, adding that drone operation is highly sensitive and dependent on weather conditions to proceed. Of course, there were a lot of people unhappy about it online, and interestingly enough, according to this was that same area where there was a bunch of people jam-packed watching the drone light show, which kind of created a hazard. And I believe from reading those reports, it seems like the weather was due to things such as a little bit of rain, but a lot of people were suggesting it's because of the high winds at times, where I guess it's too dangerous and unstable. You can imagine it with a drone light show too, where it has to stay in certain spots in formation and all that in order to draw pictures or words. So it makes you think too, just in terms of using these types of presentations, if that's what you want to say, there's so many factors that you have to consider, huh? It's not just, okay, this can easily replace things like fireworks in all, I guess, scenarios. And with the thought of drones, this was kind of interesting because, as you know, there's a lot more officials using drones, and with that news in the US where potentially companies like DJI will have their drones banned, what will officials use? And it was kind of interesting here in Canada. This one says, game-changing RCMP testing crime-fighting drones in rural Alberta. And you can see in the picture and so forth, it actually looks like it's a parrot drone. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. It says, there's space in the RCMP's Cochrane detachment that could be easily mistaken for a video game room. A PlayStation controller even sits under one of the screens. It wouldn't be a far-off guess if the machinery being controlled from that room wasn't heading out to traverse the skies above Stoney Nakoda First Nation. From that room, which otherwise looks like a place officers take their coffee break, police are testing new drone technology that may soon help active crime scenes and other emergencies from a bird's eye view. Alberta RCMP have been testing drone technology since early June in areas across Alberta, with hopes of deploying the technology across Canada in the coming years, a product of inquiries into some of the country's worst mass shootings. Saying here, quote, I'm going to call it game-changing technology, where with just a little innovation and technology, we can effectively have a helicopter in almost all of our communities, said Kevin Kuniski, Deputy Criminal Operations Officer for the K Division of the Alberta RCMP. It's kind of interesting to think about because they're so happy about potentially having all these, I guess, eye in the sky, and you know the public, they're really paranoid about drones and privacy and all that. So will people be okay with this? It says they carry a lower cost and risk to the RCMP. Helicopters typically cost the force more than $20 million, a drain on already tight resources and often unrealistic for smaller communities. In some cases, the drones, capable of reaching more than 80 kilometers an hour, can beat police to a scene by 5 minutes or more and prepare officers and emergency services for the scene they're approaching. That's going to be expected, but again, another interesting thing about this is how they're using things like parrot drones. It made me wonder how they came to that, I guess, conclusion where that would be the best choice for them, or were they, for example, supplied it in general? And this was kind of interesting with the topic of AI, where a lot of people are concerned it's going to be misused. So this was kind of interesting, as that famous whistleblower in the US, Edward Snowden, I guess, left a message warning people about things like OpenAI because of some announcement recently. This one says, Edward Snowden releases new message, "You have been warned." Edward Snowden wrote on social media to his nearly 6 million followers, "Do not ever trust OpenAI. You have been warned." Following the appointment of retired US Army General Paul Nakasone to the board of the artificial intelligence technology company, Snowden, a former National Security Agency subcontractor, was charged with espionage by the Justice Department in 2013 after leaking thousands of top-secret records exposing the agency's surveillance of private citizens' information. In a Friday morning post on X, formerly known as Twitter, Snowden reshared a post providing information on OpenAI's newest board member. Nakasone is a former NSA director and the longest-serving leader of the U.S. Cyber Command and a chief of the Central Security Service. He retired from the NSA, a position he held since 2018 in February, and saying, quote, "As a first priority, Nakasone will join the board's Safety and Security Committee." The OpenAI announcement reads. So as it kind of implies, it's suggested that anyone in that type of an official role going into a company role now would make you think there's something not good in terms of harvesting data or something like that, or using it as a way to track people and whatever you want to say, but that's the quote warning, I guess. What would you think of that? Would you think it's a big deal, or would you think people are still going to use it and all that because everything's spying on you? That's basically kind of the mentality a lot of people have anyways. All right, see you guys later.